Now, your forecast first from KARK4, your weather authority.
Good evening. We found out today that U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Tom Vislak has designated 69 of 75 counties as the drought disaster declaration. All right, so these counties are going to be the counties shaded in blue are going to be able to get some help from the government because of the drought conditions. As we take a look at our 4-1 live Doppler radar, we're going to notice that we do have showers and storms in the area of southern Arkansas and southeastern Arkansas where they don't have drought designations there in southeastern Arkansas. More rain could fall across the rest of the state too. We'll talk about burn bans and all of that coming up. You're watching KARK4 News at 5.
Coming up, vandalism sets back a water treatment center thousands of dollars. How this could affect Ma Mel's water supply. Next, sticks and stones. The mud flies back and forth as two Arkansas politicos wage a war of words online. Plus, Arkansas, a top 10 puppy mill state? Find out which animal rights organization's making the bold claim and why.
Now, from the station you count on, this is KARK4 News at 5 in high definition.
Good evening and thank you for joining us, everybody. I'm Bob Clausen.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jessica Dean. A developing story tonight in Arkansas. County authorities there busted an estimated 19 people in Stuttgart as part of a 2-month-long investigation. They're now searching for 6 more. Those arrests began early this morning. Sheriff's deputies call it Operation Crackdown. Officers already confiscated meth, crack, hydrocodone, Oxycontin, and other drugs. Our Marcy Manley is in Stuttgart right now. We'll have the very latest developments tonight at 10 o'clock.
An arrest in connection with the suicide that wasn't. Tuesday, White County Police arrested Charles Berry on second-degree murder charges in connection with the death of Donna Kennedy in April. Deputies say Berry told them Kennedy shot herself at her home just outside Searcy, but investigation turned up evidence to the contrary. Berry is currently being held at the White County Detention Center on a $200,000 bond.
A man convicted of attempting to suck women's toes now back behind bars, accused of trying to do it again. Michael Wyatt was sentenced in March for approaching women in Conway stores, talking about their feet, and then asking to put their toes in his mouth. Today, he was back before a judge who said he'd violated probation with another attempted toe sucking in May, this one in Cabot. Wyatt now behind bars in the Faulkner County Jail. His attorney plans to appeal.
Already on a water conservation order, Ma Mel's water woes recently made worse by Mother Nature, but someone else. Someone apparently trespassed onto the water utility's grounds and clipped wires to their newest well. KARK4's Lauren Traeger joining us now live with more on this. And Lauren, this is the last thing folks out there need. The last thing anyone needs is anyone messing with their water.
That's absolutely right, Bob. And you may remember we told you that 2 of Ma Mel's water wells have recently gone belly up, so the city cannot meet the current demand they have there for water. Now add this damage, and they're left even more high and dry.
Keith Dyke can thank the rain for his lawn's recent growth spurt.
I had 1 inch and 65 hundredths in the last 2 days, so I'm good.
But not all foliage in Ma Mel looks quite so lush. The city ordering homeowners to silence their sprinklers except for once a week. Until Sunday, it was mechanical problems to blame for their water shortage. Now they have another headache on their hands.
Somebody came in sometime on Sunday and cut a bunch of wires and left it laying.
Water manager Barry Heller says someone snuck onto the property of their newest well and did upwards of $6,000 in damage.
It's a pretty serious thing that they did.
People access this remote area, it seems, by boat. They seem to know what they were doing. They cut wires that ran along the ground to the well, but the most puzzling part is they didn't take anything.
If it had been just somebody after the copper, they wouldn't have left it laying there unless they got hurt.
It's a head scratcher for Heller, who says someone may have simply wanted to get back at the city.
Going by some of the phone calls I've received in the last couple of weeks, I wouldn't doubt it.
Heller says this area, like their other wells, will soon be more secured. The damage has already been undone. Still, they lost a few days they'd hoped to have for this new well to be up and running.
We're doing the best that we can with everything that can be done.
For now, they have more than enough water for essential needs. Heller says lawn sprinkling will soon be more frequently allowed. Now he asks only for patience, something Dyke says even if his garden suffers a bit, he'll gladly give.
I understand all the problems people have. I'm getting along okay.
Now, Heller doubts the people who are responsible will ever be caught, but if they were, they could face a federal crime punishable under terrorism laws because they disrupted a public water system. Bob, back to you.
All right, Lauren, thanks very much. And a $26 million plan to fix roads in Maumelle put on hold during a meeting last night. According to the Maumelle Mayor, Michael Watson, the city proposed presenting a $26 million bond issue in a special election set for September. Unfortunately, the deadline to have all the paperwork in the Pulaski County Election Commission is Friday the 13th, and the next city council meeting is next Tuesday. Mayor Watson says the proposal will go to the council for further study at this time and could be brought up again in a future meeting if approved by the city council and then voters. The bond would have funded capital improvements throughout the city.
The political debate reaching a fevered pitch and the rhetoric even more inflammatory. It is a big election year here in Arkansas, and because of redistricting, every seat in the House and Senate is up for grabs. As KARK4's Adam Rodriguez found out today, the strain, though, is beginning to show through. Adam, what happened?
Yeah, and there is a lot on the line this fall, Jessica. Republicans are shooting for a majority in the House and Senate for the first time ever in Arkansas, and Democrats say that's not going to happen. But it's what they're saying about each other that's completely new.
Nonsense. Gnomes and Nazis. It doesn't reach the level of the Lincoln-Douglas debates, but does it belong in Arkansas politics?
Comparing somebody to a Nazi is just, that's like going overboard.
I think it's disrespectful, and even if it's the other party, you shouldn't do that just because it's a public matter.
It started a year ago when Republican Representative Nate Bell took to his Facebook page and said, comparing to Dems to Nazis is way too easy. Just this week, Democratic Senator Jimmy Jeffress took a shot at Bell on his page, calling the Republican a fat little gnome. We caught up with Governor Mike Beebe at the Doubletree Hotel in downtown Little Rock to get his take.
Well, I'm not going to engage in it to get into that level of discourse.
And asked him to elaborate.
You know, that's counterproductive for what I think Americans want and certainly what Arkansans want.
Political commentator Bill Vickery says it's likely we'll see more references to gnomes and social dictators, with Republicans fighting for seats they've never had and Democrats fighting back to keep them. That includes comparisons to infamous world leaders and bearded travel totems. Enjoying our holiday.
And Vickery says the intensity that we're seeing isn't a byproduct of the debates in Washington. He calls it just homegrown tension among the parties and also among the electorate. Back to you.
It's going to be a long year. Arkansas, the top 10 Humane Society list, and it's not a great list to be on, accusing the state of being a puppy-producing state, meaning more puppy mills, but there is hope out there. KARK4's Aaron Nolan tells us all about it.
This is not the type of top 10 list that we want the natural state to be on.
Man's best friend. Canine companions. Plenty of pooches. The state of Arkansas has been named to the top 10 puppy-producing states list, and the Humane Society of the U.S. believing most of those coming from puppy mills.
If you could close your eyes and have a nightmare of living conditions for an animal, that's what you would see.
A situation that is seen far too often here in the natural state. But why is Arkansas on this list?
Laws in Arkansas are a lot more lenient than other states with lower puppy mill rates.
According to the Humane Society of the Ozarks, another factor contributing to the high rate of mills, the rural nature of the state. But there is hope.
This is the first step. It kind of brings the situation to light.
The Humane Society of the U.S. is asking folks to be aware and not afraid to react and report.
If you suspect puppy mill activity, report it immediately to us.
And with that, the HSUS is offering $5,000 to anyone that gives a tip leading to an arrest and a conviction of a puppy mill operator.
That was Aaron Nolan reporting. According to the Humane Society, the best way to avoid buying a dog from a puppy mill is to make sure you don't purchase them on a social website, things like that. Don't buy a dog in a parking lot or an obscure location. If you want a specific breed, the Humane Society recommends using the American Kennel Club.
Coming up, we're going to tell you about a program giving people a second chance to finish their degree. We'll tell you how it works. Plus,
coming up tonight at 6, find out how and why a Russellville couple's dream came to a sudden end, and there may be a lesson in this if you're planning to buy a business.
And isolated showers and storms have formed across northern and central Arkansas. More heavy rain and actually widespread rain showing up on 4 and live Doppler radar across southern Arkansas. We had some flash flood warnings today in Union County. Some burn bans being taken down. We'll show you those a little bit later on in the newscast. Take a look at Almanac today. High temperature of 91 degrees, 1 degree below average. That must have felt pretty good. Well, we've got more of that in the forecast before warm-up. We'll talk about that coming up.
This is KARK 4 News at 5 in high definition with Bob Clausen, Jessica Dean, and Chief Meteorologist Keith Monahan.